All right, everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the last video for Module 5. Oh, sorry, Module 2, not Module 5, Module 2. This is going to be lecture number 6. And this was going to be a very pretty short one. It's mainly going to be just how you can go ahead and troubleshoot. And I'll review a couple things in this actual module. For this one specifically, we want to make sure we understand, how to troubleshoot with skill and diagnose system problems, but we also want to make sure we understand, like as an administrator, how do we notify users of system issues during login or while users log on to the system. So troubleshooting has a very scientific method kind of process. You go ahead and you establish, you gather all the information you need. These are like the preliminary information. And then you go ahead and create basically a hypothesis of like, this is what I think is happening. And you get this preliminary information by reading the error messages. So really understand what it is. Take a look at the help command. So remember we talked about the man pages. We can man, cat. So we talked about man pages. We talked about the help menu. We also talked about the help. Oh, sorry. The help menu, like for commands, to give a better understanding of how we can go ahead and understand how the command works. What are we using the flag correctly, stuff like that. But we also need to take into consideration like the error messages, like permission denied, when we saw in the previous ones. Permission denied means I don't have permission to view it. So how do I fix that? And then we can determine like what is the reason for it. Look at the documentation, talk to more experienced coworkers and ask them, hey, what do you think is the problem? I'm experiencing this issue. What do you think is the problem? Then ask the system administrator for advice. What do you consider the issue? Maybe there's someone that's more experienced and may have the idea. The next thing I was going to say is because it's an open source environment, take a look at the actual documentation online. Put it in there, the error message you're getting. Guarantee there's other people who have asked the same question. And then just look all around the internet. Once you go ahead and do that, then you start marking down how you want to go ahead and fix this problem. So document your plan of attack. And then once you go ahead and do that, like what is the process? How can I make the process easy? How to ensure documentation will be easy to retrieve a reference? What tools are available? So once we get all that done, then we can actually perform that. And what we do in that case is we actually do what we decided to do. Did I make any typos? Did that work correctly? Did I get the output that I expected? Does something else seem amiss? And then lastly, you need to go ahead and ask yourself, well, is the problem? Did I fix the problem? If I didn't, then you go back to the drawing board and see what else could be the problem. And if it did, but it still is not giving me what I wanted, are there other problems? Did you create a whole new problem because of what you did? And then one of the things we want to go ahead and make sure we're understanding is that as we're going through this certain thing, we want to make sure we're documenting this, because this is not going to be a one-time deal. More likely, this will come, and unfortunately, either you may not be with the company anymore, or you may move up in the actual company. And at that point, everything else, like you have to make sure you leave I would say a legacy, but you have to make sure you don't become a silo of information. You want to make sure you share it. So make sure you create a documentation, like what you did, what was your thought process, and why you went this way, and then how the people after you can prevent future problems. So we can actually go ahead and do some really cool things. We can actually create these pre-login messages through Etsy issue, and that's going to be under, if we go into, we can do vim/Etsy/issue. We can actually create logins, screen messages using Etsy issue. We can do that with FTP. When you log in remotely, this is what it'll actually show. That's going to be issue.net for the remote feature. We can do that for FTP. We can also do it in the GUI form for Red Hat. For Debian. So we can also do, there's also another command or another thing we can actually work with, which is called the message of the day. and it's MOTD file. So we can cat/etc/MOTD. This is actually what's in the MOTD file. Hello, everyone. That's it. We can actually change it. We can go ahead and talk about, let's say, if you're on a government system, it'll say, hey, you know, just letting you aware by logging into the system, you are acknowledging the fact that you're allowing us to monitor your actual activity. Or, you know, you can give a user agent agreement, you know, an accessible use agreement, that kind of thing. Those kinds, there's purposes, upcoming changes. Maybe you can let them know, hey, just to give you an FYI, we're going to be rebooting the system on this day, so make sure that you have all your work saved because we'll be pushing updates. We can actually go ahead and broadcast out to the entire enterprise messages using what's called the wall command. We can wall something. So think of like you're writing something on a wall, and as people pass by, they see it, right? So it's a very similar concept. So we can say wall shutting down in 5 minutes, saying, hey, just let you know the network's going down in 5 minutes. You need to go ahead and finish up your shit. Excuse me, and let's go. And then you can actually issue broadcast demands for a shutdown. So you can actually shut down, you know, machines throughout the network and everything. It's a very, very short lecture. I don't like to spend too much time on this one, just because of the fact that, you know, troubleshooting, you kind of learn with the scientific method. And then give you an introduction to some of the new commands such as wall and message a day. We really can't go into that per se, except for like editing the file and then go ahead and seeing what it looks like. But we really can't see what it looks like all the way through. But other than that, this is exactly how you need. And that's it for this module. Go ahead and use the information that you gather with these lectures to go ahead and be able to work on the activities. And then from there, you should be able to go ahead and complete this module. Just make sure you finish your quiz. And after that, you can go ahead and continue on to module 3. Thank you very much. Have a good time and see you next video.